Hello and welcome to Craft and Chat. I'm Amanda Fowler. It's Tuesday, the 21st of October. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining live, can you do me a sound and light check, please? I always appreciate you checking that, you can see and hear me. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and pop by. Got a few things to talk about today and a Christmas card. Christmas is a coming. The clocks go back in a week at the weekend. Oh, sorry, I'm just I have on my desk I have I don't know what it is. It's shall we start that again? On my desk, I have a big metal unit that connects all of my wires, and it was hanging off the edge of the desk. That's really dodgy. But I fixed it. Lorraine, hello. Blimey, it must still be very, very late for you. Thanks, Sally. She says I'm looking and sounding good. Hooray. Right, so I've now recovered my really important bit of metal. I wish I could tell you what it's called. Somebody will know. It's a connectory thing. Menopause, the gift that keeps giving. Every now and again, I forget words. Anyway, somebody will tell me what it is. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you. Okay. So, as you can hear, my cough's back. That's a bit of an issue. Brian's sick. So, we had 2 weeks of me being sick. And although Brian was kind of rumbling with something, he never actually really got sick. And then at the weekend, it kind of wiped him out a bit. So my cough's come back. So I'm hoping that we're not in for round 2, because I haven't got time to be sick again. So firstly, how are we all? How are we all doing? Oh, 11 p.m. Yeah, so well, our clocks, I don't know. How is that going to affect you? If our clocks go back an hour, 2 o'clock will actually be 1 o'clock. That might be better for you, Lorraine. Might be an hour earlier. I don't know. But anyway, it's Sunday. So next week it'll be the different time. Hi, Donna. So anyway, so I've got a cup of tea. And it's actually, we're going to talk about tea to begin with. So here in the UK, and I'm pretty sure around the world, we can have our groceries delivered. And to be honest, we'd been having our groceries delivered probably before COVID, actually. But obviously through COVID, that was kind of the best way to get your groceries. So, we put in an order and along comes the van and a very kind person brings me my shopping. And every week there are substitutions, and it's substitutions I want to talk to you about. So for those of you that have shopping delivered, grocery shopping delivered, what is the weirdest substitution you've ever had? I mean, we've had some really weird ones, but I really would love to know what's the weirdest substitution that you've had. And the reason I'm raising it is because today I had a really, really good substitution, hence the cup of tea. I ordered my normal tea bags, PG Tips, just ordinary bog standard tea. They substituted with Twinings English breakfast tea. I'm so excited. Brooklyn's going, what's going on? Going, they've sent me Twinings. I love Twinings tea. But you know, we don't buy Twinings tea. But they gave me Twinings tea, and it's the same price. So they substitute it like for like. I mean, we consistently get weird substitutions of, you know, frozen. So I may have ordered, I don't know, frozen cod, for instance, and they send me smoked haddock, which, you know, is the two are nothing alike. I mean, I know they're both fish, but you know, that's not going to work. And quite often they'll send random things, like I'll ask, hi Lorraine, hi Michelle, you know, I'll order a cauliflower and they'll send me a swede. or just kind of weird things. So anyway, so am I the only one that just gets weird stuff delivered? Or does anyone else? Right, so in the world of Amanda, we are in the crazy time of year. We have Craft Together that's next week. We have the retreat that's next week. So I've had kits and stuff all over the place, all getting finished off to go in the post. I've got a parcel, a UPS parcel, stuck at Stamford No Hope, which has been stuck there since Thursday. So obviously somebody's decided to put it in a corner and haven't it just hasn't moved. It's just kind of sat there, and it's not been scanned either. So like I say, I think it's just got pushed into a corner somewhere. So I'm waiting for that before I can finalize some of the stuff. So that's all been a bit crazy. Obviously, I'm 2 weeks behind because I've been sick, which, you know, the world needs to understand. It is not a good time to be sick. Oh no, Elizabeth. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, Elizabeth. I just saw that the Wi-Fi kind of dipped a bit. Hopefully it will settle out now. Sally's saying that she's done online shopping for years too, hasn't had any weird substitutions, but have had several items for free because the use by date was the same as the delivery. That's good. Just means you just have to rearrange your menu a bit. But that's awesome. Hi, Mum. Pauline's here for everyone else. Yeah. So where was I? I'm distracted now. So we've got, the Christmas retreat, the Craft Together. Did I say craft along earlier? The Craft Together is coming up. Then there's card class. Then there's my in-person retreat, and then it'll be the middle end of November. At which point things will calm down until Kimberly has her baby, and then it's going to go crazy again. So, but that's very exciting. That is all very exciting. So that's what's kind of happening in the world of Amanda. In the world of Stamping Up, I sent out an email earlier on today, not that long ago, actually. There's free shipping starting tonight for people in the UK, but tomorrow for the world, the 22nd, and it's 3 days. Now, the free shipping is on a £60 order. or €75 for my European friends. The thing is, though, why would you place a £60 order? Because if you join my team for £35, you can get £130 worth of products. It makes no sense whatsoever to place an order. And I've been saying this all a month. And my team is growing so much. It's crazy at the moment. It's wonderful and crazy in equal measure. So I was speaking to a customer last week who was looking at a bundle. So it was one of the Christmas bundles, and I think it was £49. And she needed, in order to have that bundle, she needed to get like a specialty plate as well. So that because it had a 3D embossing folder in it. So in actual fact, the total order would have been about £60, to be fair, about the same as free shipping. And I said to her, you need to join. And she went, but I'm not going to be a demonstrator. I'm not going to run classes. I'm not going to do YouTube videos. I'm not going to do all the things you do, Amanda. I'm going, you do not need to do all the things Amanda does. You need to enjoy the community, enjoy your discount, maybe stamp with some friends if that's something that you want to do, and shop. That's what you need to do. She joined. I mean, it makes, like I said, it makes no sense. Spend £60 and get £60 worth of products. Spend £35 and get £130 worth of products. Why would you? Why? Anyway, so yeah. But I appreciate you might have questions and you might go, Amanda, I don't think I can do this. That's fine. Email me, call me, message me. I can answer all your questions. And I promise, I really do promise, it is a good deal. There aren't any catches. There aren't any, I don't know, you have to sign in blood or any of those random things that may cross your mind that say it's too good to be true, therefore it can't be. Actually, it is. And you get to do classes for free with me. You get discounted classes. You still can hang out with me on a Tuesday. Nothing has to change. You can carry on doing exactly what you've always done. You just shop with yourself instead of shopping with me. But then you're part of my team. So that works really well. Okay, so I'm hoping that we haven't had any more freezing kind of issues. Oh, that is such a good cup of tea. Okay, so I thought I would do a Christmas card today. And for those of you that have been patiently waiting for the blog posts of the last two craft togethers, they will be coming at the end of the week. I'm just not there yet. I have other things that I've got to get done before I can do the blog posts. So I really appreciate you kind of still hanging out with me and waiting patiently. So today I am going to be using one of my favorite Christmas sets. You have seen me use this so often. It's called A Little Cheer. And the reason it was like one of the first things I bought was these little guys, which are the punches. So pretty much every time there is a stamp punch bundle, it's on my list. I'm not actually going to be using the punches today. I'm just going to be using the stamps, but they are great. And if you want to see lots of samples, head over to my blog. Let me just put my blog address up there. You guys know it anyway, but just in case there's somebody popping by that hasn't hung out with me before, in www.inspiringinking.com is my blog. If you the homepage will have like the 3 or 4 most recent blog posts, but if you click blog, it'll take you and you can see years and years worth of blog posts, and you can search. So you can search on a stamp set or a technique or a fun fold or whatever it is that you want to do. But obviously, if you're here on YouTube or on Facebook, then you can search there as well. Okay. So I am wondering, so all of the comments about freezing are all in Facebook. My lovely crafty friends in YouTube, are you getting any freezing? Because sometimes it's Facebook that is the problem. So, okay. Whilst we're looking at that, I'm just getting everything out of the basket. And then, oh no. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do is get the camera turned around. So let's just do that. Got the state of my desk. Oh dear, it's chaos. All chaos, but that's okay. So this is the stamp set. Oh, thank you. Sally said that the joining offer is amazing value, and I can confirm that Amanda's community is fantastic for inspiration and friendship. I love the free classes too. 14 years on, I have no regrets. Thank you, Sally. So for those of you that don't know, I've actually been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator since the very day we launched in the UK. That was 18 years ago. And I had to work on Sally for a little while to encourage her to join, but she did, and it's wonderful. Okay, so let's start out. So the first thing that we are going to do is color some pearls. So these are the iridescent pearls. Oh no. Do I want tiny ones? No, I want bigger ones. And I'm using my blends. Now, if you haven't got blends, then use a Sharpie marker, or there are other alcohol markers out there. I have to say, I obviously love my Stampin' Up! Blends because the colours coordinate with our colours. So you just need to go over them a few times. And I'm doing them now. I'm going to go back over that one again. Doing them now so that they can have a little bit of time to dry, because they'll be almost the last thing I put on. Not quite, but almost. And they're buildable. The colour builds. Okay. So that's that one. So the card today is a Z fold card. Basically because of its shape. So it is a standard card. So your card stock will come in A4 sheets or 8.5 by 11 if you're in North America. And it's basically been cut in half, scored in half, and then this front piece has been scored in half again. I have used, it does say it on there, but it's pretty much worn out. This is the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. And I use embossing folders all the time. It just gives a bit of added interest to your card, but more importantly, it gives texture. And that's really important when you're making a card. Even a really simple card, you want to have texture on it. This card has so much texture. We are not going to be missing out on texture. So we've got those two panels, and then I'm going to put a white panel here. And I'm going to start out by stamping that. And I am using the little tiny leaf. Now, we talked over the last few weeks, actually. We've talked quite a few times about using little stamps. And lots of people have problems working out how to use little stamps in their card making, because the way we tend to design is we tend to have like a focal point, and we tend to think about we tend to think about what we're going to do, and we need something big for the focal point. So when you're faced with a stamp that is, barely as big as my little fingernail, I can understand why you might think, oh, I'm not sure what to do with that. So I'm actually going to make this leaf completely the focal point for this card in the end. But actually, all I've done there is stamped it and stamped it off, just to give a little decorative edge. We are going to decorate that a little bit more later. But right now, we're just going to stick it on the inside of the card. And I always like to decorate the insides of my cards in the same way that you decorate an envelope as well. I think it's really important because it just looks really nice. So there we go. So that's sort of the inside and these two panels. So now we're going to work on the focal element, which is going to be a square. And just here, I have a punched out circle. And the circle is 2¼ inches, but it can be any size of circle you want. And I'm just going to draw around really lightly with the pencil. Can you see that? Yeah. And this is a 3-inch square. And I'm going to take my little stamp, and we are going to make a wreath. So we're going to start at the top, and I'm going to stamp it 3 times. So I've stamped it off, and I've stamped it again. And I'm going to do the same. And again. And what I'm doing is I am following that line. And I'm not stamping every single dark leaf on the line. So sometimes I'm stamping them so they kind of go off the line. Sometimes they kind of go inside the line, because if you think about a Christmas wreath or even a spring wreath, anything like that, the foliage is kind of, you know, always a bit wild. It kind of goes wherever it wants to go. And we can fill in the gaps as we go. Now, there are lots more kind of leaf stamps that you could use to make a wreath. And you could make much bigger wreath than a 2 1/4 inch one, should you wish. Okay, so I've now got all the way around, and it's pretty much a circle. I'm going to add a few more leaves. I'm just going to kind of, as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, oh, that could do with just a little bit more just there. But if you get to a point where your stamp is hovering, stop, because it's always at that point that the next stamp that you put down is going to be 1 stamp too many. And I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me. Okay, so that is all the leaf stamping. We've got our berries. We need to do our sentiment. And, ooh, where's my Merry Christmas gone? I've got my Christmas, but no Merry. A bit weird. Oh, it's fallen off. That's why. These stamps have been used so much, they're actually a bit dusty. So it's fallen off the block. I have a video on YouTube which shows you how to kind of clean your photopolymer stamps. But just as a quick tip, what I suggest you do is get a little bowl of warm water with a little bit of dishwashing liquid in. Here in the UK, it's Fairy. Obviously, you will have different types of washing liquid. Although I say it's Fairy, in our house it's Ekuva. So which is what's the one we've got at the moment? Mandarin and something. It's really, really nice. Anyway, bit of warm soapy water, pop them in, give them a swoosh, and then take them out, rinse them off in warm water again, and then I just put them on the draining board and until they're dry, and then put them back in, and you'll just find that they will become sticky again, because it's basically just a little bit of dust that gets on the stamps. So I'm going to stamp my Merry and Christmas. Should you not like Merry Christmas? There is a Happy Christmas as well. That is on such a wonk look. Let's try that again, shall we? That's better. See if I can do the merry now. Yeah, it's better. Now, in that order that's at Stanford No Hope is a new punch. And I have been dying to show you this new punch. And it's a triple punch for small sentiments like this. So it like punches out 3 bits at a time. So I am really excited to show you. So with any luck, it will be here by next week. It's coming in the online exclusives that launch in November. So I think that's the 4th of November, 3rd or 4th of November, the first Tuesday in November. We've got some new products coming. But interestingly, should you join my team, I know I sound like a broken record. Should you join my team, you can actually pick items from the new online exclusives. So I was, like I said, I was talking to a customer last week about joining. And if you, when you click on the join link, if you, once you've sort of logged in and done all of that stuff, and you start doing the exciting thing, which is putting your products in your basket, I'm aware that the Wi-Fi's dropped a bit. I'm probably going to go a bit blurry for a minute or two. Apologies for that. Hopefully it will sort itself out in a second. I won't do anything anything close up for a minute or two whilst I'm chatting. So if you search for products that are the newest products, then you get to see all the sneak peek stuff. Okay, so I have made my little Merry Christmas banner. So we're going to cover up the ink pads because we all know what happens. And then we are going to have some fun. So, not that we're not having fun already, but more fun. So there's that. I've got, a real red. Oh, this is, yeah. Did I mention that? Old olive and real red. Colours of Christmas. Okay. So there's my little wreath. So next up, more texture. Not blurry, just glitchy. That's Elizabeth. Darn. Okay. So, linen thread. Don't panic. I know it looks like I've nearly run out. I never run out of linen thread. There are 3 more rolls downstairs. It's like basic white cardstock, envelopes, linen thread, Tombow. I never run out. So I have got a double 2 strands, and I'm doing a bunny ears bow. Now, hang on. If I do it in the air, you might be able to see. If bows are your nemesis, which, to be fair, they are for most of us, on my YouTube channel, I have a playlist, which is bows, knots and bows. But if you just search Inspiring Ink in bows, then there are videos that I probably did 8, 9, 10 years ago, but they are just really straightforward and easy ways of tying bows. So this is actually what I call a bunny ears bow. Actually, if I put my hands over that, can you see that better? Yeah. So what I've done is I've got my strand of 2 lots of linen thread. I've made a loop and another loop. So this is why I call it bunny ears, because it looks like bunny ears to me anyway. And then I'm crossing over the bunny ears, one on over the other, and it makes like a little loop at the bottom. And I'm just putting in the set of bunny ears that was went over the top and pulling it through the loop. And then I'm just pulling on the 2 loops, and it gives you a perfect bow every time. It works with ribbon, it works with baker's twine, but it's one of my favorite things to do with linen thread. And when you use a double layer of linen thread, it just gives it more presence. Okay, so there's my bow. So I've got my berries and my bow. Now we need bling. And the bling is coming in the form of the gold shaker stars. Now I used these on a shaker card a little while ago. And these are the most beautiful sequins, but they are star shaped. So you've got, let's see if I can get some. So you've got teeny tiny stars, you've got bigger stars. Ooh, come on. And then you've got stars like that one, which are sort of an outline of a star. And what we're going to do is going to get our Tombow and dot all over this wreath. And oh, that's the one I made earlier. Hang on. And along here as well. So let's just do that. And then what we're going to do, obviously I've got this in a plastic tub. This, honestly, this makes the most sense to me. But you're just trying not to tip them everywhere. Tap them off. And then do the same with this one. Okay. Now, they will stick wherever you've got glue, but also they do stick to one another. So you will end up with way more, or what looks like way more than you need. But there's no such thing as too much bling. So what I do now, I'm just going to fold this grid paper over and just give it a little bit of a squish, just to help those sequins stick. And I'm just going to do the same here. And then tap off any excess. There we go. And obviously, it looks like you've used a mountain. You really haven't, but look at it. Oh dear. It's so cool. And this is really cool too. Look. Okay. So let's continue to build our little wreath. So I'm going to use a glue dot for my bow to go at the top. I've got my little Merry Christmas with dimensionals on it. Thank you, Stella. I'm going to put my Merry Christmas across. Now, obviously you could leave it like that, but what I wanted to do was bring in the red. So got the pearls that we colored earlier. Always an odd number. It will just look so much better. Your eye, it's like gardening, it's like any kind of creativeness. Odd numbers is always, always better. So, ooh. Let's have that one there. The last one. Ooh. Just there. Okay. There we go. So we're just going to finish this off now. Now, you can ruin your card at this point by sticking the whole thing down. Okay, so we just want to put glue on this side. So I'm actually going to use tape. I normally use Tombow, but I'm going to use tape. And just put it there. A couple of bits will be enough. No, 3. Never too many sequins. Never too much glue. And just pull the tape off. There we go. And hurrah. Let's just leave that there because that's the stamp set. Do that because then it won't reflect. Maybe it still will reflect. Hang on, let's try that. I do wish we could design lights that don't reflect back, but that's kind of the whole purpose of a light, I guess. Oh, Jill, thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth and Donna and Lorraine, saying it's super pretty and festive. Thanks, Stella, as well. Yeah, so it is really lovely. Now, if you know the people really well that you're sending it to, you could always just add a few more sprinkles of sequins in the envelope. Although when that's happened to me, it's kind of, it's one of those things that you either love it or you hate it. Lorraine, thank you. So obviously I've used this teeny stamp to make this wreath. There are lots of other stamps in the catalogue that you could use. Or you could use dies as well. But generally with Christmas cards, I tend to try and make them so they're fairly flat. I know we're all conscious of the postage, but it just is, I mean, that's really going to stand out, isn't it, on somebody's mantelpiece? So there we go. Okay, so that is everything from me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Do let me know, send me an email, and let me know if there are any particular stamps you'd like me to focus on, or techniques or fun folds, that kind of thing, in upcoming craft and chat. Do please consider, if you're placing an order, joining my team instead, because it's such a good deal. It's just the best deal. And I'm all about you maximizing your crafting pennies because, you know, it's important. And who doesn't need more crafting stuff? So take care of yourselves. I will be back here next week at 2 o'clock. And I will see you all again very soon. Take care till then. Goodbye.